Metallica, the undisputed kings of heavy metal. For over 4 decades, they've ruled stages, shattered sales records with over 163 million albums sold worldwide, and shaped thrash metal for generations. But despite their massive influence, not every band has shared the spotlight with them. Behind the iconic tours, legendary performances, and world-shaking riffs are stories of refusals, rivalries, and creative clashes that kept certain bands off their stages. Today, we're counting down the top 10 bands Metallica refuse to tour with and why. From chaotic nu metal icons to polished mainstream rockers and even bitter thrash rivals, some of these reasons are shocking. Buckle up, this list is full of drama, headbanging, and what-if moments in heavy metal history. Number 10, Slipknot. Few bands in modern music have embraced chaos and intensity quite like Slipknot. Since their explosive debut in 1999, the 9-member Iowa outfit has been a live spectacle unlike any other. Masked musicians, towering scaffolding, thundering drums, and songs like Wait and Bleed and Duality that hit with relentless aggression. So, why, with Metallica being arguably the biggest metal band on the planet, did a joint tour never happen? It comes down to one simple thing: philosophical clash. Slipknot thrives in chaos. Their shows are deliberately unpredictable, overwhelming the senses with noise, pyro, and wild theatrics. Metallica, on the other hand, has always prided itself on precision, a tight, disciplined performance built on decades of craft. Put these two together, and you've got a potential storm of conflict both on stage and off. Audience expectations played a huge role too. Slipknot's fans crave carnage, mosh pits, walls of death, and nonstop frenzy. Metallica's audience is multi-generational, hardcore thrashers, longtime fans, and parents introducing their kids to Enter Sandman. Mixing these groups would have been combustible, creating tension between raw energy and legacy-driven metal. Then there's the ego factor. Both bands are headliner material. Neither would likely accept the opening slot, which brings logistical challenges and potential power struggles. Even Slipknot frontman Corey Taylor has openly praised Metallica as a major influence, yet admitted in 2019 that the two bands are worlds apart in how they approach live shows. In the end, Metallica opted for safer tours, pairing with bands like Pantera or Five Finger Death Punch, acts that complemented their style rather than challenged it. The dream of a Metallica Slipknot tour remains one of metal's greatest what-ifs. Number 9, Creed. Now, this one might surprise some of you. Creed, massive arena-filling rockers in the late 90s, with Human Clay selling over 20 million copies worldwide, never toured with Metallica. At first glance, it seems like a missed opportunity, but the reasons are deeper than chart numbers. It boils down to musical philosophy and tonal mismatch. Creed specialized in soaring ballads, emotional anthems, and spiritual undertones. Metallica, on the other hand, thrives on aggression, introspection, and the darker side of the human experience. Pairing them would have been like putting a lighthouse next to a thunderstorm. Both beautiful, but conflicting in purpose. Image matters too. During the mid-90s, Metallica experimented with Load and Reload, trying new sounds and styles, but fans questioned their authenticity. Creed, often criticized as overly commercial, would have amplified that tension. Metallica's Lars Ulrich openly expressed disdain for bands that traded credibility for radio friendliness, a clear indicator why Creed wasn't an option. Fan culture cemented the divide. Creed fans, younger and more radio-oriented, might have found themselves lost in a sea of thrashers eager for circle pits and headbanging. Metallica chose compatibility over chart numbers, safeguarding their reputation with loyal fans rather than chasing mainstream crossover. Number 8, The Offspring. In the mid-90s, The Offspring were on fire. Their breakout album Smash helped spark a punk revival, catapulting them from cult status to mainstream fame. At the same time, Metallica had just released the Black Album, solidifying their mainstream rock dominance. Two bands at their peak, a tour between them seems obvious, but it never happened. The reasoning? Musical direction and brand integrity. The Offspring's tongue-in-cheek, playful punk anthems clashed with Metallica's darker, more serious image. Imagine thrash fans expecting Battery and Master of Puppets only to hear sarcastic jokes and pop-punk choruses in between. It would have been jarring. Practical factors also mattered. Metallica was playing stadiums. The Offspring were still filling theaters and arenas. Logistical mismatches, combined with potential audience friction, made a tour unlikely. Dexter Holland later acknowledged that he respected Metallica's choice. No bad blood, just two bands moving in different worlds. The fantasy remains tantalizing, a bridge between punk and thrash, a meeting of high-energy worlds that never collided. Fans still wonder what could have been. Number 7, Limp Bizkit. Love them or hate them, Limp Bizkit defined a generation of nu metal with Break Stuff, Rollin', and Nookie. Their energy was aggressive, theatrical, and polarizing, perfect for MTV-era spectacle. So, why did Metallica tour with them? The answer revolves around image, fans, and reliability. Metallica's brand emphasizes musicianship, grit, and authenticity. Limp Bizkit leaned into attitude, theatrics, and a frat boy aesthetic that screamed spectacle over substance. Fan culture mattered too. Metallica's audience, fiercely loyal to thrash, might not have welcomed rap rock antics. And after events like Woodstock 99, Limp Bizkit was associated with chaos, violence, and unpredictability. For Metallica, reputation and professionalism mattered as much as star power. The result? Two giants on parallel paths, neither willing to compromise their integrity or risk fan alienation. Number 6, Nickelback. Yes, you heard that right. Nickelback, the most commercially successful rock band of the early 2000s, never shared a stage with Metallica. The reasons? Image, credibility, and audience expectations. Metallica has always prided itself on authenticity and rebellion against commercialism. Nickelback, perceived as corporate rock with polished radio-friendly hits, would have sent the wrong signal. Fans could have seen the partnership as a sellout move, especially during the critical reception of St. Anger. Additionally, live performances diverged. Metallica thrives on raw energy circle pits and intense catharsis. Nickelback's shows, while popular, catered to sing-alongs and mainstream rock audiences. Merging these cultures might have diluted the experience for both fan bases. In short, Metallica made a conscious choice. Protect the legacy, even if it meant passing on the commercially obvious option. Number 5, Korn. Korn's mid-90s emergence changed heavy music. Down-tuned guitars, gut-wrenching lyrics, and Jonathan Davis's anguished vocals defined nu metal's darker edge. Both bands were festival headliners, commanding rabid fanbases, yet a full tour with Metallica never happened. The reasons are sound, image, and fan culture. Korn's slow, brooding, groove-heavy style contrasted with Metallica's thrash intensity. Image-wise, Korn embodied nu metal angst, Adidas tracksuits, baggy clothes, and tortured lyrics. Metallica, still recovering from load/reload criticism, couldn't risk further backlash by aligning with a genre considered a passing fad. Even though both shared stages at events like Woodstock 99, a wide-scale tour was a no-go. Metallica instead surrounded themselves with bands that reinforced their thrash legacy, keeping their brand consistent for decades of fans. Number 4, Kiss. Kiss, masters of theatrics, fire-breathing, and stadium spectacle, seem like a natural tour companion on paper. Yet Metallica never joined forces with them, and the reasons are rooted in ethos, aesthetics, and fan loyalty. Metallica has always positioned itself as the antithesis of glam. In the 80s, when Motley Crue and Poison dominated MTV, Metallica doubled down on aggression, authenticity, and stripped-down presentations. Kiss's elaborate sets and campy theatrics would have overshadowed Metallica's precision-driven performances. Fans, too, played a role. Thrashers could have perceived a tour with Kiss as a betrayal, given glam's position as the enemy during Metallica's formative years. Logistics also posed challenges. Kiss's complex stage setups clashed with Metallica's preference for streamlined, high-intensity concerts. The takeaway: sometimes two giants are too stylistically different to coexist on tour. Number 3, Megadeth. This one is legendary in metal lore. Dave Mustaine's Megadeth seems like a perfect pairing. shared thrash roots, technical prowess, and decades of fans. But history gets in the way. Rivalry, pride, and old wounds. Mustaine was Metallica's original lead guitarist, fired in 1983 due to clashes and substance abuse issues. The fallout created one of metal's most famous feuds. Full-scale tours never happened because comparisons were inevitable. Who's tighter, faster, or louder? Even today, old grudges linger. Only selective festival appearances like the Big Four shows brought them together briefly. A joint tour? Too risky. Metallica chose stability over nostalgia, letting fans dream without reopening old conflicts. Number 2, Linkin Park. At the turn of the millennium, Linkin Park exploded with Hybrid Theory and Meteora, blending heavy guitars, electronics, and rap rock vocals. Both bands were stadium-ready powerhouses, yet they never toured together. The reasons? Genre, timing, and audience divergence. Linkin Park's hybrid style catered to younger MTV's fans. Metallica, reasserting thrash credibility post-ST. Anger wanted no association with the nu metal wave. Timing was tricky too. Both commanded massive shows, top billing, and loyal fans. Decisions over opening/closing slots could spark friction. Metallica's fans demanded headbanging and mosh pits. Linkin Park's audiences leaned toward sing-alongs and emotional release. The experience would have been awkward for both. Respect existed. Chester Bennington covered Metallica songs and praised them, but touring? Different worlds, different paths. Number 1, Guns N' Roses. Here's the climax, the one that actually happened but went disastrously wrong. Metallica did tour with Guns N' Roses in 1992, but the experience became legendary for all the wrong reasons. The Montreal show stands out. James Hetfield suffered severe burns from misfired pyrotechnics, cutting Metallica's set short. Fans were angry, and then Axl Rose arrived late, performed a truncated set, and walked off. Riots ensued, property was destroyed, and police intervened. Professionalism clashed with chaos. Metallica values precision and discipline. Guns N' Roses brought unpredictability and frustration. The tour taught Metallica an enduring lesson. Reliability matters as much as star power. One ill-fated tour was enough. They never attempted it again. This story perfectly illustrates why Metallica is selective with tour mates. Protect the legacy, maintain credibility, and ensure fans get the show they expect.